The Book and the Wisdom. According to some, when the Qur'an uses the phrase, "I give you the book and wisdom," this means two separate entities. Yes, I know it does not make sense, but if you have no verse in the Qur'an stating that you may, can, must or should follow the hadith of Bukhari, then this is what they have to do with the book of Allah.
Remember, God took a solemn promise from all prophets, and through them with their respective nations that they would welcome each of the next messengers in the process of divine revelations and support him. God said to the prophets, "Now, I give you the book and wisdom. Afterward there shall come a messenger confirming the truth in what you have. You must, then, acknowledge him and help him. Do you accept and agree to hold on to this pledge of mine?" They said, "We do agree." He said, "Then bear witness, and I am with you among the witnesses."
All messengers of Allah were given a book and wisdom, and also the last. In his case, we are told that the book is the Qur'an and the wisdom is the Bukhari and Hadith in the name of the messenger. If the wisdom is in the Hadith, then they are unashamedly stating that we have to accept that the Qur'an is without wisdom. This removal of the wisdom from the Qur'an is like saying there is no poetry in a poem. It is that stupid. The problem is that those who read and translate the Qur'an do not understand the word va, which is present in many phrases and in the book's va, wisdom. When we see the word va, the usual understanding and translation is as the conjunction and. This always makes us think of something additional to what comes before the and. For example, I learnt mathematics from a maths book and maths teacher. What confused a lot of people is that va can also have an explicatory role in classical Arabic. The word before it is defined, clarified, described by what comes after the va. In English, I would write, I learnt maths from a maths book which is about numbers. In Arabic, the translation would be, I learnt maths from a maths book, va, numbers. Clearly, the maths book is a book of numbers and not two separate books. This is important because the Bukharians use the va as a separator and not as this joiner. The Quran is the reminder full of wisdom in the above and in all the verses referencing it. In full context, a book full of wisdom that has been sent to us to learn from and become wise. Here are a few relevant verses in context on the topic under discussion so that we may learn from its wise teachings. The wise Quran.
These are the verses of the book, full of wisdom, providing guidance and mercy to those who wish to live a balanced life and do good to humanity. Such people strive to establish the divine system and set up the economic order of zakat. 4. It is they who have conviction in the eternity of the human self and therefore, in the life to come. They are the ones who are on the guided path of their Lord and they are the ones who will be ultimately successful.
But this surah does not stop here, and for those who deny the Quran for an hadith-based religion, read what comes next.
But among people, there are those who invest their time in hadith which is unfounded, so as to lead those without knowledge away from the path of God, making mockery of it, the Quran. For such there is a humiliating punishment in store. Whenever our verses are conveyed to such a purchaser of hadith, he turns away in arrogance as if he never heard them, as if there were deafness in his ears. So give him the tidings of a painful doom. Whereas those who believe in the word of God and fulfill the needs of others, for them are the gardens of delight, to abide therein according to God's true promise. 4. He is the mighty, the wise.
The wisdom behind the ruling.
Surely, those who malign God and his messenger, God will deprive them of his grace in this world and in the hereafter. He has readied for them a humiliating punishment. And those who malign the believing men and the believing women undeservedly, they bear the guilt of slander and manifestly drag down their own humanity. O Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and women of the believers that they should draw their outer garments around their body, when outdoors. This is easy and proper so that they may be recognized as decent women and not bothered. God is absolver of imperfections, merciful. Thus it is, if the hypocrites, and those in whose hearts is disease, and those who create turmoil in the city do not desist from harassing women, we shall give you control over them, O Prophet. And then they will be your neighbors for no more than a short while. Accursed, they shall be seized wherever found and slain one and all. This is the penalty for men who keep annoying innocent women on the street, assault them or rape them. That was the way of God among those who lived before. And never will you find any change in God's way.
We have in the above verses a ruling that women should dress decently when they are in public, and the reason, the wisdom as to why Allah has stated this. Does the Qur'an need anyone else, to explain this wisdom in a clear verse, or is the Qur'an sufficient for those who are true submitters to Allah? I know some of you do not like when I quote from great scholars, but sometimes the light of the Qur'an shines more brightly when we see the darkness of what we are told to follow instead of the wisdom of Allah. See what wisdom they attribute to the Messenger over the Qur'an.
Their signs of belief are on their faces, the effects of adoration. Wajh, countenance, whole being, face, and not forehead.
Here is Ibn Kathir on verse 33-59, and when reading it, remember that Allah has said in the above that Muslims, male and females, when going out will be known by the signs on their faces, that is, we can see their faces.
Ibn Kafir 33:59 The command of hijab. Ali bin Abi Talha reported that Ibn Abbas said that Allah commanded the believing women, when they went out of their houses for some need, to cover their faces from above their heads with the jilbab, leaving only one eye showing. Muhammad bin Sirin said, I asked Ubaidah as-Salmani about the ayah, to draw their jalabib over their bodies. He covered his face and head, with just his left eye showing. That will be better that they should be known so as not to be annoyed. Means, if they do that, it will be known that they are free, and that they are not servants or whores.
Methinks the Greek tales of one-eyed Cyclops had an influence on the rulings of these men. And for those who watch all of my videos in full, here is a bonus for you. Kemal Ataturk, the founder of modern Turkey, said that all women had a right to wear the niqab, face covering, but it was compulsory for all whores to do so. This turned the forged and fraudulent rulings of men like Ibn Kathir over the face covering issue on its head, and freed women from this misogynistic monstrosity, more wisdom sadly ignored by the majority.
And the messenger will say, O my Lord, these are my people who had abandoned this Qur'an as something to be neglected.
The Qur'an Unchained.